flight from East Lansing to Chicago on a bus to get on our flight to India.
We're gonna be on a flight for 15 hours. Help us, please.
Here comes the 15 hours.
Me and Will sat next to each other on the flight, and then we both found out that our TVs didn't work.
Plane ride was extremely long and uncomfortable.
Things can get pretty weird after like hour 6, and we couldn't sleep at all, so we were just like
Exhausted. My body hurts. Morale is low. We're running out of food and water. That was tough, but it was all right. We got there safely.
Once we landed in Hyderabad and got all of our like bags and stuff and we're walking out, and I just felt like, yeah, I'm in India now. Like, this is a completely different world.
We got to the film city. It was really dark and I couldn't see anything.
When we got up the next morning, we realized how beautiful and amazing the place was around us.
What are you thinking of the trip so far?
Well, we had a lot of locals, stare at us, like almost like we're celebrities. Just like my friend Ryan here said.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I don't mind. I've always liked the spotlight. So I mean, we're all film majors. What are you doing here? Get out of the bus.
We wasted no time. As soon as we got up, there was something to do. Every day that week, all day, there was something to do. The lectures were very informative. Some were really interesting, and it was great to just learn more about the country, more about film, being able to tour a television station, knowing that I want to be on TV someday.
Once I got to know everybody, like especially that first week, and like basically seeing everybody every day at all hours of the day, I really, really got to love the group of people that we were with.
Earlier today, we went to a theme park. We went on that. Yeah.
It was
the space.
Katra.
Space Katra. Katra means journey.
Mm-hmm. And the language.
It's like Hindi, I think.
Yes.
I think she means Hindi.
We had like all these inside jokes. I don't know. They were okay.
We have drone with us, we have crane with us, and we have those tracks.
We got to do an exercise with Mr. Patil, who was Amal's kind of mentor in India, and taught him a lot of what he knows. So it was interesting just meeting him in the first place.
We got to use the crane today. It was pretty cool. I got to do the follow or pull focus. I know we're shooting a shot where they're walking out of the woods and we crane up over a canopy and you have to shift the focus to like the nice beautiful flowers that are up on the trees over there.
We really got to get our hands on the gear and the camera and the hardware and software that we'd be using. So it was a great warm-up and really set the tone for what we'd be doing for the rest of the trip.
We saw like where they keep all the props. Where they have all the equipment. Just everything that would eventually be available to us.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the first week was getting a tour of the recording studio, Symphony.
The main studio that we were in the very beginning, they just had a huge board, and just that looked like the biggest, best studio. It's the only place you would need to record any kind of audio, whether it be music, sound effects, voiceovers.
I myself was able to play piano for a little bit.
the end of the first week, we got a chance to go out into, you know, real India, if you want to call it that, and we visited the village of PASTAPUR, where basically it's this group of women who create documentaries. They've been trained on film equipment in a very professional setting, and they make these documentaries to spread out to their communities.
The idea was just to document what they were doing, because mainstream media had no space for their voices. Basically, they had no idea what was happening on the ground. So they thought, why not have our own media, where we have control over our media and we communicate our own communities about what we do and document it. It was limited to that.
They were making documentary and films about what interests them and their community interests. So I feel like that was very inspiring, because it brings back the passion that I have for film and doing it because I love to do it and doing it because I can talk about certain topics that inspire me and that I want to bring awareness to. And I think the women in PASTAPUR do that very well, because most of their documentaries are about their community and what interests them.
I feel like we were kind of set free. So when we first did our first trip to PASTAPUR, it's like we were like little kids, like first time leaving out the house.
We just flew in from Hyderabad, arrived in Pune, and took a bus to our new hotel, and it's pretty chill.
Fort SINHAGAD was definitely an opportunity that I did not want to miss out on. It was a long way up, I felt like, in the car, and then once we started going up the steps, I was wondering how we didn't get lost. It was rainy, we were definitely in the clouds, but it was an awesome experience.
Tell me about the clouds.
Is your microphone plugged in?
Oh, shoot. No.
The clouds?
Yeah.
Well, we're basically in a cloud right now. I don't know, we're hiking pretty high up on a mountain, and the air is really thin, so it's hard to breathe, and we're blocking a pathway.
Where are we right now, Claudia?
We're looking at a pond that kind of looks like melted shamrock shake.
It's a big change from what we've been doing, traveling around the cities, and this is definitely, we're seeing a lot more of like the Indian topography. We're up in the mountains, the first time we've done this. So our lecture with Vikram really personified how lucky we were on this trip and how lucky we were to have some of the resources and to meet some of the people we did.
The gesture. Till that moment, you don't know.
He sat and talked with us for a long time, around 3 hours, and just to hear someone that well established in the Indian film industry, which means, you know, well established, he's a well established actor on the world stage, to have a personal lecture with him and to talk with him one-on-one was very enlightening, and I felt very fortunate.
Mumbai Film City was pretty neat. It was far different from the Ramoji Film City, but it was still cool nonetheless. We got to visit a few sets. We visited one of the most popular shows in India with these two actresses.
It was really interesting to see the environment. It was a lot smaller than what I imagined.
The Ramoji Film City sets were far superior.
Organized anyway, they were a lot more organized.
Yeah.
And then we went to the animation studio for a little while, and I thought that was probably the coolest part of the trip.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We got to see
Maya Digital Studios.
That was a good. That was a breath
pretty
of fresh air from seeing all. We've been doing a lot of film stuff, seeing a lot of film and TV sets.
We also spent like 10 plus hours on a bus yesterday.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye. Goodbye.
So while we were in Delhi, we visited the Bharati Public School, which is owned by Archit's family. When we walked in the door, they put like marigolds on our neck.
It was nice watching them dance. I love the dancing. Not only did we watch them, they invited us to dance with them. Kind of forced to dance, but it was still fun. So that was just a great experience.
The kids, they had this like program planned where they were like assigned a certain state of India, so they kind of like made little presentations about each state.
I'm going to present one of the famous poems composed by me, where the mind is without fear and the world is high.
The Scotland of the East. It is also known as the rock city of northeastern India.
I was just amazed as well because some of the things they were learning over there, I haven't learned yet, and people in America don't learn until they get into college, such as like computer science. But the hospitality was wonderful. Everyone was so nice.
I wish I would have gone here when I was young. Great.
Bharati Public School.
Bharati Public School.
So we took a day trip to Agra while we were in Delhi, and we visited the Taj Mahal. The bus ride there, like my excitement level was like through the roof, even though people probably couldn't tell. But like the fact that I got to visit one of the 7 major wonders of the world was amazing. So once we got there, it was so many people there, and I remember just feeling like really overwhelmed. People just all around me, and for some reason I felt like everyone, just all eyes was on me, and I just remember like being really hot, and I like just couldn't breathe, and like I was just getting like really bad anxiety. We got to see, you know, all of the stonework, all the beautiful, just intricate details of the Taj. It was very beautiful once we got inside of the Taj. It was really hot that day, and then it poured on us. Overall, it was a little bit overrated, in my opinion. It was very nice to be able to say I went to the Taj Mahal, and I had an anxiety attack inside the Taj Mahal, so.
Delhi was pretty sweet. It was hot. It was in your face. It was there. But we conquered it.
I think we had some great times in Delhi though, like honestly, like memorable experiences. Very memorable experiences.
And now we're headed to Hyderabad, back home, you know, to Ramoji to get the real work started. So I'll see you there.
So as soon as we got back to the Ramoji Film City, we started production on our music video. That was our first real taste of what it was like to be on set. We weren't a part of the crew for the music video, but we got to see how all the crew worked together and what type of equipment we were able to use, and just sort of see what the environment was like to kind of prepare us for how working on the final film would go.
We had an amazing choreographer who worked with everyone to make sure that the video turned out as good as it could be.
We shot the music video in 2 separate days. We all got makeup put on us. We had our own specific costume, and that was definitely a new experience for me.
Everybody was super focused and trying so hard to get the choreography right. great.
I'm messing up.
And it was just really like a fun bonding time.
It was fun overall.
So after a long meeting with MAHAL and Archid and Chelsea, basically our executives, we really kind of figured out that our original idea really wasn't working.
So we had to crack out the script in like 2 days. We started off at like 14 pages and then whittled it down to like 12.
Oh, we can do that in a dialogue.
Since I was a part of the script writing process, it was really easy for me to become the character because I was writing for the character along with Stefan and Ian. She was looking around ready to try anything.
That next day, everyone read it and gave us feedback, and so we wrote another draft that night.
Well, we're getting close. We're almost done. We're on last dialogue section right now. So.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot about script writing?
I think I'm learning from these guys, you know what I'm saying? Like little stuff. I didn't know what beat meant. They told me. Beat. You know what I'm saying? Beat is a pause.
Gotten a lot done and still some work to do, but we're getting there. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it.
You're doing a good job, buddy. Keep going.
Yeah, thank you.
And then the next day, everyone did a table read of that script, and we wrote another draft, and so we just kept kind of going back and forth. Within 3 days, we had almost 5 drafts of the script done before it was finally ready to shoot.
How do you feel about your role as director?
It'll be a fun challenge to make all the shot sheets and the shot schedule and the storyboard tonight and shoot tomorrow morning. We started out by visiting locations for the airport. We went to the airport set. It's supposed to be a relatively empty airport. And we went to the prop room.
So right now we're in a prop house, looking for props to put in our fiction film.
Okay, so 3 policemen, 3 guns?
Yeah.
You want something fancier than this?
No, that's fine.
You might want rifles instead of these.
I think we have everything set up for the shoot tomorrow. Hey!
All right, let's go. Time to shoot.
So yeah, they'll be her close up. His close up. Yeah. Slate.
Scene 8, shot 2, take 3.
Action.
I got to ride around in this Magnum dolly that cost like $500,000, which is insane. I just had like this guy pushing me around at times, which was really cool.
There's no perfect production, so things are always going to go wrong.
We're about 4 hours into the shoot right now, and we lost 2 hours because everything we filmed had like settings on it and levels, so we had to re-record.
I think the problem was we got just hung up on one shot yesterday. When we got hung up on that one thing, it just let everything like get delayed, and we all just got like in our own heads about it. So instead of like moving on, we were just like over and over trying to make one shot work.
All that stuff where he's like, I'm gonna go talk to these dudes. That's all.
Yeah, I think the static is not bad.
Okay, static.
No, with static you go.
So we're about to film the breakup scene, but the thing is, we've got half an hour to do it. We've got like 4 or 5 different angles to shoot it from, and within that, of course, multiple takes for multiple angles. And this is the most lines she and I have for the entire movie. So you could say the pressure is relatively raised.
What matters is, are you with a team that can handle when things go wrong? And I think for the most part, we did a really good job.
I know we're going to get this all done. We're working together great as a team. I'm trying to go around and give everybody positive feedback to keep their spirits up and everything, because I want this to work out. You know, I feel like this film is going to come out sensational.
So I was the on-production sound recordist. Basically, I'm the crazy guy in the corner saying, you know, hold for sound. You know, the guy who basically listens to anything that would mess up the audio, making sure we get good audio. The real work comes in like post-production.
What are we doing right now?
We're recording some voiceovers and syncing it up to our picture lock.
So we're doing what's called ADR here, and what that is, it's called additional dialogue recording. And basically, if there's a take with some audio with some wind over it that can't be put in the final film, we'll have the actors come back in, lip sync their dialogue essentially, and put the new audio over the old audio.
I just recorded the puke sounds. And again, just one take. You know, just one take Willie, that's what they call me.
How's the editing going?
It's going really well. We've synced up all the audio files. The levels are all balanced. The shots are all clipped, so the little marker, that's not in there anymore. We said get out of there.
My favorite parts of the production was definitely working with Will, editing. It's one of my more familiar areas in production, and we just had a great time laughing and goofing off, but still getting work done.
The computer, but that's not as relevant. Hey, come on, this is where the meat is.
All right, say we're out of here.
That was good. Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
After we finished the film, we premiered it for Mr. Ramoji himself. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, gonna be honest.
It was really kind of intimidating.
Were the hero and heroines among you?
I knew that we had a really solid project, and I just hoped that he would like it.
So like while the movie was playing, I was just like staring right at him, and I see like a little smirk here and there. So I'm like, okay, just kind of impressed.
I felt like all of our hard work had really paid off at that point.
I got more than I ever could have imagined in terms of what to put on my resume, in terms of career building, and in terms of gaining experience. And also came back with a close group of friends, people that I hope to see long after the trip is over.
When I was in India, I completely let go. But I'm so glad that I went on this trip. There's so many different outlets that I have to use my talent, and this trip definitely helped me get a better idea of that.
The group was really interesting. It was kind of a thing that I was probably pretty nervous about going in because group dynamics can be really weird for me, but everyone I felt like got along really well, especially for like going through some of the stressful things that we did go through together, up from almost dawn till dusk so many days and around the same people and around the same group and working on these projects together and still love it.
I didn't know what to expect. I really enjoyed my experience there. I put myself out of my comfort zone, which is one of the best things you can do for yourself. So, I think about India a lot. I always think back to it, and it was a really great time, and I'm really glad I decided to go there.
Trying to tell people about India, it's really difficult because you don't really understand it unless you were there. I can show people photos and, explain to them what we did, but it's really something you have to see for yourself, and I'm glad that I went, and it's definitely something that I'm never going to forget.
The way that I think, the way that I speak to people about different countries or traveling in general, I really encouraged everyone to travel or to study abroad, and I told them that it's never too late. And it just left a mark on my heart, like a mark in my mind. It's someplace that I honestly want to travel to again.
That's the squad. That's everyone. Can I get a wave from everybody? That's the family right there.